What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Champion Living podcast, the only podcast crossing the lines between the sport of rodeo and fitness. Today's episode, we're talking about how you can get involved in rodeo beyond competition. Want to help the sport of rodeo grow? We've got all the info for you. We're diving in right now.
Wake you up. We've been trying to potty train Callan, and now that the weather's good, so he's like got no diaper on, just going. He just pisses down his leg every 30 minutes. I'm like, bro, dude, how many times are we doing this? Say something. Yeah. Let me take you to the bathroom real quick. Go pee on a tree. I don't care.
Me out here, guy.
And so when I came out here to podcast, he was like, Daddy, I'm gonna go pee on a tree. I'm like, okay. I'm sure
joys of being a parent. I'm really glad I get to live through you guys vicariously right now. I'm sure I'll get my own payback, but.
It's when I take him to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I'm like, all right, man, like let's go pee, and he's like standing there just holding it, and I can hear him go. He's like, it's not working. I'm like, yeah, all right, never mind. Pull your pants up. We'll try again later. Anyway, it's
potty training a girl is a whole nother. That's a whole nother animal. Like with Cannon, it was easy because he turned 2 in the summertime. You know, it was about that time.
Yep.
Just run around naked outside
Yep.
and, pee on the tree. And he was good about that. He pooped in the driveway a couple times, which we had to try and put a kibosh on that. But like we only pee outside there, buddy. But potty training Charlie has been nothing short of a nightmare, I guess, would be the easiest way to put it.
What is she? What's going on? Like, what is?
Well, she's pretty good now. Like, she's pretty good. The only thing that she's still doing is like, she has having an older brother and being around him all the time. She has a hard time like not
understanding.
Yeah, like why she has to sit instead of stand, and so like she'll. This is a little graphic, but like she'll sit on the toilet and like kind of try to watch herself, and. What happens is it does a little arc outside of the toilet onto the floor, and it's like, okay, now we have a mess.
Oh, that's good.
When she poops, she tries to take care of it herself, and just ends up making an even bigger mess. Like she'll just go to the bathroom, won't even tell you that she's in there, and she'll go to the bathroom, fine, and then she tries to clean up, and it's like, baby, you still need some help.
There's shit everywhere.
Yeah, so I had to clean up one of those yesterday, and I was not thrilled about that.
Oh, that's
the newborn's crying in the other room. Heather's like, "Can you help me?" I got shit on my hands. I'm like, they
got things going on in here. I need backup.
Yeah. Oh, the joys of parenthood.
Yeah. I had a potty train a puppy recently. I mean,
it's the same.
So much easier.
Yeah, it doesn't seem near as difficult.
Hindsight's 2020. It's so much easier.
But if there's anything that's I mean, as bad or worse than your own child's feces, it's dog poop. Dude, it is dog poop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not many things get me uneasy in my stomach, but the smell of dog shit will make me.
Which is crazy because, like, growing up, around large animals and stuff, like cow poop, no problem.
That doesn't bug me at all. Yeah,
it doesn't bother me one bit. Dog poop, it's just, I don't know.
And we live in one of these damn neighborhoods where you got to pick it up.
You got to clean it up.
Yeah, and like people watch you like hawks.
Oh, I bet.
And I realized this the other day because I'm walking with the 2 dogs, and it's the middle of the day, and there's these 2 little girls sitting outside their house, must not be in school yet. But I realized that, first of all, how much kids take in from their parents, because their parents have to be talking shit about people not picking up their poop. My dogs peed across the road, and we kept walking. And these 2 girls ran across the road while I had already passed, and were like looking in the grass for shit. And I'm like,
they're gonna tattle.
Yeah, you're gonna tell on me or what's going on? But I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, I bet those parents are in there talking shit about these people walking their dogs pooping all over our yard, blah blah blah. And I do pick up my dog shit because I'm a huge believer in karma, and I feel like if I don't, then I'm gonna have 10 piles of shit on my yard after I get home. You know what I mean? So I do pick it up. I hate every bit of it, but yeah, those 2 little girls were trying to bust me, and I was like, Not
today. I don't want to live somewhere where I have to pick up my own dog poop. Like I
I
don't want to.
Dude, it's so hard after you don't too, because like
Yeah.
for the last 5 years or whatever, like our dog's 7. So when he was a puppy, we lived in the neighborhood. Then we moved out in the country. Now we live in the neighborhood again. And man, it's a tough transition. Like he used to, we used to live on the edge of the woods. He would just go to the woods and take care of himself, and that was so nice because like you just turn him out and he's good to go. And now having to walk him and pick up, it's like, oh, like it's a drag compared to the country living.
It is. It is. But nothing worse than walking through the backyard with no shoes on and just.
Oh, yeah. No, that's no good at all.
Yeah.
I'd much rather clean it up than do that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Man, we're off to a great start. Great start.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes in, and we've been talking about poop the entire time. So.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, did you?
4 minutes, 58 seconds.
Did you check out the live that Paul and I did last night?
Dude,
it was.
I didn't. I didn't watch it, but I saw it go up. Saw the post for it. I was on a phone call when you guys started that, and I was like,
it was awesome.
Did it go well?
Really, yeah, it was really good. It started so slow, and I told Paul before, I was like, I don't know that anybody's going to be there, so probably 20 minutes, and we'll be good. We'll just hang out, we'll just chat. I'd love to hear about what you've been learning about. I'll tell you about a study I'm reading about. See if anybody has any questions. I'll 2 people, and we'll leave. So sure enough, it's just Rin and Callie, I think, are the only 2 that are there. Well, Tyler, but I'm like, he doesn't count because he gets paid to be here. It's like his job, so whatever. But
like
they're
your mom watching.
Dude, yeah, exactly. And so, but then questions started rolling in, and every time I was like, well, I think that kind of sums it up, unless somebody else has got a question. Next thing you know, 58 minutes later, it's over. I mean, it was really good. We talked with quite a few people about protein and training shoes and anyway, all kinds of stuff. It was really enjoyable.
That's awesome.
It was really
my mind was stirring afterwards too, and there's a couple other podcasts. Mind Pump does it, the live coaching. Mm-hmm. Have you seen those ones, like where they have
the Q&A when they have people call in? Yeah,
I feel like that's something that we could probably incorporate. Maybe not, right away, but maybe sometime in the future. Like, we can start pulling some questions and
wanting to do that, because all we would have to do is
our recording.
Yeah, they could come into the show, no problem. We just have to give them the link, and then we could answer each person's question or scenario, help them with it. And what Mind Pump does, I love, is they give people advice on the situation that they're in. So this person is calling in because they have a specific thing they're wanting help with. It could be like, I've been in the gym consistently for 5 years. I've been working out. I've been focusing on my diet. I'm still not gaining weight like I want to. These are the things I'm doing. What am I missing? And they go through and kind of help them problem solve what's going on in their journey. So I think that'd be a really cool thing. And I've been thinking about that. I've been wanting to put on my story multiple times, like, who would be down for this? Who would want to come on the show and ask some questions? And I think that would be really cool, because I'm sure that if one person's going through it, another person has to be dealing with it as well, right?
Well, and that's what I get from the Mind Pump ones. Like, not everybody's you're not gonna relate to every single question that's asked, but maybe every third or fourth one is going to be at least somewhat applicable to your own.
Absolutely. That's some of my favorite episodes, or just the Q&As. I glean so much from how they handle those situations with other people. I love those. And now that it's yard mowing season, I'm going to get caught up. I haven't listened to any Mind Pump in a while, but that's usually my go-to while I'm sitting on the mower for hours on end, is listening to those guys solving other people's problems. And it's I think man, it'd be so cool to be able to incorporate something like that with us.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We'll make it happen then.
Definitely should. I've been listening to get this. I've been listening to some hunting podcasts, but
no way.
They have their fitness themed. Okay. So they have it's someone that's talking about ways to get in shape for the mountain, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it blows my mind how many of these guys are telling people they need to go run.
Yeah.
Like they need to get their cardio up. And I'm like, you guys have no damn clue what you're talking about. You've gone to the mountain and they've taken on this persona of a Goggins or something like that, or a Cameron Haynes, which is badass. But for the general population, that is not going to work. And you going to run and walk and saying that's going to make you better at hiking through the woods with 50 pounds on your back. Not to mention, if you kill something and you're having to load meat out, you're talking about a couple 100 pounds on your back. You are in no way, shape, or form in condition to do that after you go run or walk. for months. I don't care how long you're doing it. You need to be squatting, you need to be lunging, you need to be deadlifting, and you need to be, functional cardio would be awesome. Put your pack on and go walk through the woods. Like that's doing it. Don't go run miles on the pavement.
Do lunges and step ups
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like turn the strength training aspect of it, like, make it very specific to what you're doing.
That's
like
the thing though.
With a pack on your back is exactly what you're doing on the mountain. Like, you're not running.
There's Remy. That's the said principle, right? The specific adaptations of implied demands.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way to train for anything is by doing that thing. And while you can't always, go hunting or hiking and so on and so forth, doing those lunges, for example, could mimic, having to step up on these big rocks. As
Dude,
you're
how about a
going
back rack box step up and step down? Like a weighted step up and step down. How simple is that? And how much further is that going to take you than I'm going to go jog down the road for an hour?
Yeah.
It doesn't, they don't correlate. So it was just something that I've heard it multiple times over the periods of a few different podcasts in that realm, in that outdoor space, hunting realm, that it peeved me a little bit because I'm like, dude,
people will listen to anything. You know what I'm saying? We have listeners. I mean, people will listen to anything,
And again, I'm not saying don't, for real, right? If we've got people tuning in, anybody can. But I just don't think people just don't see the resistance training can be used for a cardio feel, can induce your muscle endurance, can increase from lifting weights. It's not, the running is not going to help you a ton. Yes, if you are someone that is like never done anything before, absolutely, I think you should do a mix of all of it. Just go out there and lift and move and do all the things and just get comfortable, like Logan was saying, putting in the reps, doing the act, doing the the task of moving a pack through the woods or whatever. Or if you're a rodeo athlete, we talked about this on a few shows, but that energy system that you're using is really important, and it's the phosphagen system and fast glycolysis. So we're not ever tapping into that energy system where you run miles. There's absolutely no need for you to do that. You'd be much better off doing sprinting of some kind, 20 seconds on, 5 minutes off, 2 minutes off, like whatever it is, like a 20 times rest of whatever you're doing on your work. But you just got to think about the skill that you're doing and make sure that your training is applied to that and not just somebody's advice they gave you on a whim and you're just taking it and running. Do some research, look at what you're actually doing for the thing you're training for, and make sure your training looks like that when it comes to time, when it comes to output levels, all the things, right? They need to match. There's no point in, I've just seeing so much of it these days, and it's just in this, and being hard and being tough is something you've got to be, but there's also being smart about doing those things. And that's what I really want to get across to people and our listeners is you've got to treat the recovery, your nutrition, your workouts, all the same. They're one big part of the puzzle. And that is what you make that puzzle of, or what makes the puzzle put together, is everything that is in that event or hobby or whatever you're doing to get better at. So just make sure that your training correlates what you're wanting to do in the end, not just leaving you with this feeling of, oh, I just went hard as fuck, like I'm tough. It's like, cool, dude, like that's great. There's a lot of tough guys out there, but just because you're tough doesn't mean that you're getting as far as you could or doing it the smartest way, right? And rant over. I've been doing that a lot lately.
It's good. It's good. It needs to be said. There's a lot of ways to build mental toughness, and yes, you can do that in the gym. Is it the most beneficial place to consistently try to develop mental toughness? Absolutely not. It actually gets in the way.
Would you say that, okay, so mental toughness, let's say a 20 rep max of some kind, that would develop some kind of mental toughness because it sucks. You're having to go for a long time. Right. What about same thing, but I say a 5 rep max at 3 seconds down, 2 second hold, explode up, 1 second reset.
Yep.
You are getting the same, in my mind, you're putting out the same effort. It's still a max effort. I think that tempo is harder in my mind because you're having to focus every single rep on counting, contracting everything. Everything is tight the entire time. When you're doing those 20 rep maxes up and down, there is times of slack and not a whole lot of tension. So you're not getting the most out of those muscles, in my opinion.
Well,
No,
yeah,
I
and on those
completely
later
agree.
reps, like you're gonna start to compensate too. Like you're gonna find like where you can take the easy route, I guess. Whereas like with a slow controlled rep, like there is no easy route. Like
No easy route,
you're
and you
just
get
doing
so
it the
much
whole
more
time.
out of it.
Absolutely.
You know, you're getting way more bang for the buck. And so just when I look at things, it's like they develop the same kind of mental toughness. You're developing strength, but what you're trading off for the quality of the reps doesn't make sense to me. And again, if someone's doing a 20 rep max and they're focusing on quality of reps, that's a different deal. But focus on that quality. Don't worry so much about just killing yourself and going ham. Let's focus on developing quality reps, teaching good processes and systems, and that's going to translate to everything in life. Rodeo wise, I think we have a really cool topic today that we're talking about, and I think that it is definitely needed to be brought up, and that is kind of what rodeo, like, beyond the arena, or not just competing. Like, how can people get involved in rodeo and not necessarily on the competition level? Dude, this is so great because
Well,
I think that so many rodeo schools and all this you could transition into teaching people how to do all the things that, that they could be like part of the rodeo and not riding, like working chutes, working the gates, working neck ropes, like whatever it is. There's tons of ways and opportunities to be involved in rodeo and not just be an athlete, right?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like this is the one thing in rodeo that's inevitable. If you are an athlete, like it's going to end. Like you're not always going to be competing. Obviously you can team rope for well into your older years, but that's about it as far as the competition side goes.
Yeah.
So, and if you're, like all three of us were strictly rough stock guys, like team roping's not a very easy transition. Like that's a whole nother learning curve. So
Yeah, you got to ride a broke horse.
yeah, what the heck? But yeah, I think I feel like this topic is great for our current athletes, but even more so like the people that have already maybe transitioned out of rodeo, and they still have that passion, that desire, and they want to get back involved, but they really don't know how. So
yeah, man. And go ahead, Logan.
No, so many. I was just gonna say, so many people. I know a lot of guys that rodeoed hard, and that never quite made it to. They never, they were 16th a couple years. They were 17th, and they get done, and that's it. They don't go to another rodeo. They're not involved in any way, shape, or form. They go drive a dump truck. They go home. They raise their kids. And because there's some frustration there, bitterness or whatever. But rodeo, man, we need past competitors to stay involved. I mean, and we're seeing some of I don't want to send a rabbit hole, but we're seeing some evolution of the sport, not only in fitness, but in the administration and the structure. And we're starting to see people calling for change, and we're starting to see some of those things. And we need our past contestants, maybe some that got the short end of the stick from professional rodeo associations, not naming any names. We need them involved in rodeo, whether it is, working for a contractor, or whether it's, working. There's a lot of different things that we'll get into that a guy can do, but, everybody has to make their own decisions, but I hate to see really competitive guys just throw their gear bag in the closet and never go to one, never invest back in the sport.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, we see that all the time, and it's a little bit of, I think people are a little burnt out on it when they come to ending their career. To be honest, it's not easy to get involved outside of competing. You have to go search for it. And I think that professional associations could do a lot better job of reaching out to guys after they've stopped competing and say, hey, you'd make an excellent judge. You would be a great addition to our headquarters over here. Like, getting people in that have actually done the sport and understand it, and not just bringing in really, really outdated opinions, right, of people, and that's all we can find. I think there are a ton of guys and girls that have rodeoed professionally, whether it's, PRCA, PBR, whatever it is, and no longer do it. And there's a lot of them that miss it. I know they do. And a lot of them don't go back to it because they miss it so much. It hurts them to kind of see it again, right?
Because they know that there's no way they can change. There's no way they're going to change anything. So they're like, it just is what it is. But if they had some way to be able to contribute and make the sport better because of their involvement, I feel like they would still, they would seek that.
I agree with that. Absolutely, man. And so ways that you can do this is a great way is schools. Find clinics, find schools, find people putting on those schools and reach out to them. And that's how we got started with, helping Ace High and all that, was just a simple, hey, I moved up here. I'd love to come check it out. And here we are helping them and doing their schools and, doing our own school. Taylor Price just started his own bareback riding school. Like, there are all kinds of guys now coming out of the woodworks that are helping sow into the sport and helping that next generation. And we need that, and we need a lot more. So other ways that you can get involved, or look up your local rodeo committee. They're pretty much every town that you're around is going to have a professional rodeo coming through. A great way to get involved in that is be a part of the committee, help them setting up everything, preparing for the week of rodeo, getting, whatever it is, the arena set up, getting hospitality set up. There's all kinds of things you can do to help make the rodeos maybe what you wanted it back in the day. How can you make this little rodeo better?
If you were a contestant, you would make an amazing committee member, because you know what a contestant appreciates in a committee, and then you can help make that happen at your local rodeo. I think that would be, that's a great one. But like, you even said, like, volunteering in other ways, like at a school, starting your own school. Like, we need more rough stock schools. Like, guys want to complain about, like, it ain't what it used to be. Too many gunsels. It's like, well, what are you going to do about it? You got to teach these kids how to cowboy.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
No, so finding other ways to participate is number one for us on this list. If we're trying to get involved in rodeo outside of being an athlete, the next thing I think goes right along with us, obviously, but staying active and fit past, your athletic career, or even beyond. If you aren't an athlete, but staying active and fit is only going to help your contribution to whatever you can do inside the arena as a helper, right? If you're not in shape, you probably aren't going to be pulling gates or being able to work neck ropes or doing any of those things, right? You're going to be pretty limited into being able to help.
Yeah. How many guys
Logan,
have you seen how many guys have you seen that are not in great shape and seen them get smoked down? They get seriously, a lot of times, not always, things can happen. It's rodeo. A lot of times the major injuries that you see in whether it be committee members or contractor help, they're from people that are not very active or physically fit. And it's because they're just not in the condition to be out there in the arena doing the job that they're doing. We see that with judges sometimes, they're not able to move. And I know I know a couple judges that I've talked with. Once they learn that I work for Champion Living, I've talked with them, and they're like, they've asked me about training tips, because some of them are trying to stay fit and active so that they can do their job well. And I would say, no matter what you're doing in rodeo, if you're still not competing, that you should be trying to stay in decent shape so that you can contribute the most to whatever aspect it is.
Yeah, and that goes for, like, literally all of the jobs. Working back pens, flank man, contract act. The list goes on. Like, being more physically fit is only going to make you better and enjoy your job a lot more.
Yeah, job, life, anything is going to get much better the more fit you get. And it's important, man. It creates a whole new culture for the sport at that point. When people are taking care of themselves, they see other people being healthy, getting healthier. And it might be just that simple. You are on the committee with someone that one year, you're not in good shape, you and the other person's not, and one person starts making a difference and says, hey, next year, I'm not going to feel like this. I'm going to be in a different gene size. I'm going to be able to pull all these gates and not be so winded that I think I can't get out of the way, or whatever it is. And that happens on a regular basis. And it's not to anybody's fault. It's just the volunteers. Like, we're kind of limited into what's going on and what we have access to for people and personnel. So the more people we can get involved, the more people that, hey, you rodeo and you love rodeo and you're sad that can't compete anymore. That's okay. But I promise the feelings you have of like, I'm going to hate being there, dude, it's not like that. And I went through that for years, depression and anxiety about not being able to get on anymore. I'm not going to go watch that. I can't even, first thing, I went to another rodeo after a couple of years, didn't go to one for a couple of years because I missed it so much. I missed everything about it. And I went and I wasn't riding, but I saw my buddies. I saw everything I love about the whole sport. It just fired me up again. And now I love going. I love going to any rodeo I can just to be in the environment because that's the thing that I love. And I think there's so many guys to get that sour taste in their mouth after rodeoing that, fuck them. I'm not going back. They took enough of my money. I'm not. But like,
absolutely,
if we want the sport to grow, if you want change, we have to do it. We have to put in the work. We have to put our foot down. And that's the thing that we're missing right now is men and women that love rodeo are not standing up and having a backbone to do what's right. And especially the people that are in a position to do what's right are not. And that's understandable because I think they're got their nuts in the clamp and they can't, you can't help that. Right.
Well, absolutely they can. But our identity, the hardest thing about being a competitor and then not being a competitor is that your identity is still in competition. And so you go to the rodeo and you see the boys and they're still doing their thing. And now you're like it's almost like you're a wannabe or you're an imposter because your identity is wrapped up in being a competitor, but you're not a competitor anymore. And so finding that identity and being somebody that's moving the sport forward, there is no insignificant jobs. I don't care if you're the flank man for a stock contractor or if you're packing panels or if you're on the committee. There is no insignificant jobs. We all have to move rodeo together. So finding something else that you can take some identity in and some ownership of no longer gives you that insecurity of being at the rodeo and seeing contestants and feeling insignificant I think is the best word to describe it, or at least how I felt. I felt insignificant in comparison to the guys that I rodeoed with that were still getting on. Well, it doesn't have to be that way.
And that's, I'd say, I like how you said imposter. Like that almost is the self-imposter syndrome right there. Like you're putting that, it's in your own head. No one else thinks that. Everyone's there is stoked to see you, is pumped that you're there usually. And so you have to just get through that headspace and just know that you're recreating who you are. You're no longer an athlete. You are an advocate for the athletes. You can be that. You can change the sport. You are no longer held down or tied by what can happen to you in the arena. They can't take away your job now. They can't take away what you're doing now, but you can change things and make them the way that they should have been for years. You have all that power. So I'm urging you, if you are a professional or were a professional rodeo athlete and have not been involved in the sport and love the sport, please continue to sow into it. We have to continue to grow the future of rodeo. We have to put our foot down and work together as a whole and do what's right for the cowboys and cowgirls and athletes.
Yes.
Otherwise, we'll never get anywhere. And it has to change, and it has to change soon. And I think it's coming, but we have to get everybody on the same foot and standing together. Otherwise, it never will work because they've got it too twisted up at the top.
Absolutely. If you're somebody that's working a full-time job and you're not sure, you don't have a ton of time and you're not able to go, or don't want to go, sort bucking horses or you don't have the opportunity to be on a committee near you, one simple thing that you can do is you can go to WSF.org and there's an opportunity to donate money to Western Sports Foundation, which is literally changing the game of rodeo. If you want to be an influencer in the future of professional rodeo, I would argue that there's no better way and place to do that than with WSF. And they are setting athletes up for success and they are changing professional rodeo. And you can be a part of that, a big part of that by partnering with them financially. And I would highly recommend looking into that, going to a clinic and helping serve somehow. If you have the weekend to be able to do that, go volunteer your time. Maybe you don't have money, but you can reach out to them and say, hey, how can I help? What could I offer? Be an extra set of hands. There are a lot of ways to get involved with WSF. And by doing that, moving rodeo forward.
Yep. And WSF is, even if you're a past rodeo athlete, you can still go to their clinic. It's for anybody. It's setting up the careers of athletes everywhere and not just in the arena. They do it as a whole. They're teaching you the professional skills you need. So financial skills, marketing, personal branding, working out, nutrition, sports psychology, all of these things. And it's free to the athlete or anyone who's been a Western athlete. You can go to these clinics, go to one, check it out. That right there will give you big ideas of where we need help, where we need growth in the industry. And then also, if you're someone that is providing that growth, you were a past athlete and now you're doing some kind of a skill, or you've owned your own business now. Dude, we're looking for mentors all the time for WSF, past athletes that are here to mentor the future of the sport and help them accomplish all the things and know all the things that we didn't know starting, right? And that's what's going to help the athletes rise up to the next level, and then getting more past rodeo athletes into the sport and into these associations, whatever it is, if it is an actual rodeo association or a committee or whatever. That's what's going to change the sport as a whole. And that's where we'll be able to get together as a group and stand up and say, this is what rodeo should be. This is what the cowboys and cowgirls should be doing. And if there's enough of us, we can make a change. But no one is going to make a change until some people stand up. And we're leading that pack. I'm here. Like I'm not backing down. I'm tired of it. And I want so much more for this sport and for the athletes, and they deserve a lot more than what they're getting. So buckle up, mother beep.
What are they going to do? Find me? Put it on the list.
They're going to kick me out of the finals or something?
But we're not, I don't think that we're, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think we're alone in that either. Like, there's other companies that why do it escapes me? The company that just bought IPRA.
WCRA.
Well, yeah,
it's a WCRA sister company, essentially. Yeah, but yes.
But WCRA as well. Like, they're creating new jobs basically within the rodeo space, and they're more technology based jobs. So if you quit rodeo and you went and got an IT job, using your college degree that you skated through when you were college rodeoing, now you can apply that in rodeo directly. Rodeo is evolving into utilizing more of these technology systems, and they're going to be used. Teton Ridge is probably another one that is going to be kind of pioneering their own way as far as like how can they totally encompass like the cowboy mentality and bring it to the public.
Everybody, yeah. No, it's awesome, man. And another guy who's kind of leading the way, and we talk about the problems that are with the PRCA guys. This is with every association. There's problems with every association, not even rodeo. Look at the NFL, NBA. There's shit going on all the time. But what I will say is those associations that have been incorporated longer or on this national stage, like the football league, they have a union for their players. And I'm not saying that a union is the best way, but I'm saying right now, for what's going on, that's going to be the thing that's going to have to happen. Is some guys are going to again come together. That's all it is a group of people coming together and standing up and saying, we're not doing this anymore until you make it right. The PBR is going through the same thing, and they've been fighting unions the entire time the PBR has been around. But I know that there are individuals that are past athletes in the Professional Bull Riding Association that are sounding the alarm about what's really happening within the association. And Bonner Bolton's one of those guys. And he is an awesome dude. He is doing incredible things for the sport, and it's cool, man. There's a group of guys now, not just us, that are out there putting their stamp on the industry and saying, we're here to make a change and fight for what's right. And I'm stoked about it, man. I'm really fired up about what's the next 10 years of rodeo going to look like? Because I think we're going to see some huge changes and some huge benefits. And I think that we'll see it on a stage that's hasn't been on since it came around, when being a cowboy was cool. But I think that's coming back. I think people are in search of that authenticity and being an American,
Yes. Yeah. And it's nothing new. It's a cycle that just repeats itself. And the last time that this happened was 1936. The Cowboys walked out of Madison Square Garden and they formed the Cowboys Turtle Association because they were, what they were sick of? They were sick of the producers getting all the money. and here we are. We've been probably on a downhill slide since about 1946, and it always comes back to the same thing: is that it becomes commercialized, which is great. Love getting the sport out there, but it becomes so much about the money and those that are in charge making more money than the contestants are, because there's a lot more contestants, and so if you don't like it, you can step out of line. There's somebody behind you that'll take your spot, and you're replaceable. And so anyway, I agree with you. I'm really excited for the future of rodeo and Western sports in general. I think that things are dramatically going to improve, but it is going to take you, the listener, whoever you are and wherever you are. It is going to take you getting involved. It's going to take you having a voice. It's going to take you helping on some level somewhere. And there are plenty of opportunities to be involved and make a difference in rodeo after you're done being a competitor.
Yeah, I think if there's anything that you guys can take away from this episode is that we've got to get everybody together and make rodeo what we want it. You know, it's in the hands of very few people right now that get to control everything. And the coolest thing about any kind of sport is it's all about the consumer. And so the people consuming rodeo are the competitors and the viewers, the fans. If the competitors and the fans start not boycotting, but voicing their opinions strongly, start, bringing to light all of these things that are stuffed under the doormat because it's going to ruffle some feathers. Dude, I think we're past that. Let's start doing what's right, paying it forward, sow back into your community, sow back into the rodeo community, find a committee you can be a part of, find a school you can go help at, mentor some kids, like whatever it is. It can be small. You don't have to go out to these big things, but there's so many ways that you can change the game and help the sport evolve. Help the sport, everybody. Like, let's get out there and help cowboys and cowgirls and make it better.
And start on that personal level. Like, these changes aren't going to happen overnight, but they're going to start on the committee level, most likely. Because that's who's going to be working directly with the PRCA. They're also working directly with the fans. The committee is kind of the middleman between contestants, fans, and PRCA. So, like, a lot of the change can be started there. One small town committee is not going to change the entire world, but it can start there. And there was before I get into that, it can also start with just athletes that are local to you. I know Nathan Toll in Oklahoma just opens up his house on Wednesday nights to bull riders that want to come get on the drop barrel, and then he'll bring up a couple bulls if they want to get on bulls. It's like every Wednesday night, just come out. Like, we'll make it happen. And there's plenty of other stock contractors like that too. But maybe you don't own bulls, but you still got your drop barrel. Like, invite some guys over. Like, show them the ropes. Like, teach them how to actually do the thing that they're trying to do. Don't just be like, piss on them. But with the committee thing being said, I've sent a friend request to a guy on Facebook the other day that said he was like former CFO or CEO of Rodeo Houston, and then former president of Cheyenne Frontier Days or something. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. A thing. Like, I mean, like, a guy doing, multiple big rodeos like that. So, I mean, if you're that business savvy person, start at your local committee, work your way up, try and make a bit of impact at some of these bigger rodeos too.
Yeah. No, that's spot on, man. And it's kind of like that little rodeo we put on last summer. It was like, it was a little podunk rodeo, but it had every single thing that the athletes and cowboys and cowgirls wanted, right? Because we put it on. And so we had a great response from the fans. It was beyond sold out, but the athletes was the biggest thing. Like, that was awesome. That was the energy, the resources that were there for us. You came to a town of 1,000 people in Nebraska and had everything you wanted. And you show up to some of these other rodeos and you're like, where's the stuff that we need?
Yep.
And it's just because the people in the committees are doing the best they can, but they just don't know sometimes. And so help them out if you're ready to. And the best part about it is that fire gets filled back up for you when you start helping out. Like you get that same feeling. You're helping, you're driving the sport. It makes you fall in love with the rodeo again. And I've heard that from every one of my buddies that stopped and had a hard time going back and just being around it. Every time they get back around it, they're like, this is, man, I miss this.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better. There really isn't. But y'all, check out our sponsors, Beastmaster Rodeo. They are leading the way with changing rodeo as well when it comes to gear. You can check them out at beastmasterrodeo.com. You can use our discount code CHAMPIONLIVING, all one word, uppercase. Going to save you 10% on all their gear. Couldn't do this without them. They're outstanding. Guys, get involved in your rodeo committees. Get involved some way. There's a million ways to do it. If you can't figure out a way, shoot us a DM. We'd be more than happy to help you brainstorm and figure it out. Also, make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We're giving away t-shirts every month for reviews. And guys, until next time, we'll catch you later.